Everybody, welcome to United. Don't worry about the tech problems. It happens every week. You think these guys will get used to it by now, but no. Anyway, how's everyone doing? United 2, Arsenal 2 at Old Trafford. It is me, it is Abdullah. We've got a Christmas tree because it's December. I think we need an Angel Gomez to go on top. I think that's the only thing that we can have really in it to bang on top. Thank you guys for joining us. I've got to say, mate, that felt well better. Even though 1 point's not good enough at home, you've got to beat your rivals at home. That's just the way it is. It did feel better. I'll say that.
It felt better until he killed the game with his changes again, man. It's just simple as that. The changes were there to be made. See, this is what I don't understand. Why can he never find the balance? Because he takes off the best bit of movement that you've got on the pitch alongside Marcus Rashford. They were stretching the play. Tony, I think, did really well in terms of getting onto the defenders and really putting himself out there in the attacking line. I think, obviously, with some of the defensive mistakes, you got rusty defence. Eric Bailly covered up really well. Smalling was out of it for some of the goals. I thought his space was missing as soon as they'd come through. Matic too slow onto everything.
Can we get into Matic actually? Because
it's awful, mate.
My eyes saw Matic not really doing a great deal, and BT Sport have somehow awarded him man of the match, which means every fuckwit on Twitter is replying going, he got BT Sport man of the match. Like that means anything. Salah got goal of the year. It was a fucking tap-in. Like, some of these pundits that are awarding this thing, I think they're doing it as a bubble. There was 4 players that absolutely shone for me today. Eric Bailly was one. Phenomenal. Considering he's not played for how long.
Brilliant.
Phenomenal. Marcus Rojo.
Yeah.
Thought he were dead. Phenomenal. Absolutely mega. Ander Herrera.
He was fantastic.
Everywhere.
He was our best player. Him and Marcus, I think, because they really put themselves out there.
Marcus was unlucky not to get a goal, I don't think. Give us a like if you enjoyed that. Just as a spectacle, as a game of football. Because to me, I was sitting here today, well depressed, man. Well depressed, thinking, I actually can't even be asked going to this game because I think we're going to get...
You know what kills it for me? Because I looked at the lineup and I said, you know what? That's all right. Obviously, Pogba was taken out. A lot of people will tell you, oh, Pogba deserves to be dropped, but so does Matic after, like, every game. So why doesn't he come off? Like, we talk about how Pogba messes about with the ball a bit too much, but Matic isn't even trying to mess about with it, and he looks slow on it. Do you see some of the times he tries to turn around? Looks like a robot, mate.
Very slow, yeah, very slow.
It takes him so long to turn around, then he kills the play for us, slows down the play for us. It's horrible to watch, mate. Horrible to watch.
Turn it up in OBS as well. You turn it up in OBS as well. When I saw the team, I was actually lifted a little bit because I was like, okay, we won't put it at the back. Some personalities in there. I didn't feel like we were going to win it. I felt better. Yeah. And I was just hopeful of a good performance. And then in the first 20 minutes or so, we looked attacking and we looked up for it physically. We looked like we was going to be not intimidated, like we wasn't going to be rolled over. We looked like we actually give a shit. And I can take that because lately we haven't been given a shit. And I always say this is a results business, and it is. And the result wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But when the performance is good, the performance is good. And I thought...
Yeah, but you could have took that a step further.
Well, I'm getting to that. I'm going to say 75 minutes. Yeah. I was really happy with it. 75 minutes I was enjoying watching us, and I actually thought we were going to win this thing. After the 75th minute, 80 minutes, it brings on 50 minutes.
Yeah.
I understand the need for changes. Arsenal's a thought it really well. Really thought it was great to Chris Smalling. I didn't think he had a terrible game. I just didn't think he stood out as much as Rojo and that. What's happened?
Audio is awful.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just fuzzy.
I think these mics might have been going. We'll have to swap the mics out. If it keeps going, lads, we're sorry, but there's a bit of a fraying in the end on some of these. They're really shit. Sorry, everybody. I just think it comes to something when 4 other people like Jose completely kicks out at a team are 4 other players that are putting in performances like that. And I agreed with kicking Pogba out of the team a little bit. but he should have been the guy that came on instead of Fellaini. And Fred should have been another one that came on.
You need to allow players to prove themselves, don't you? And I don't think he's doing that at all, man. Which is frustrating because so many players get away with not performing well enough, like I said. And then they get the opportunity week in, week out to stay in that team. I don't think he gives that opportunity to the likes of Bailly, Pogba, the players that, as he says, aren't playing for the shirt. Well, clearly loads of them did today in Herrera and Bailly. Because Bailly was putting himself out there, took a knock. One of the times where he stretches his leg to intercept the ball as it's about to go through, got injured through that.
Our expectations are so low. How are we happy with that? Hardly created anything. Arsenal were poor tonight and we still couldn't win it. Arsenal are poor. It's Abdul's, I think. Can we swap Abdul's mic out?
I think they said it. I think they're saying it sounds good now.
Sounds decent now. Sounds fine now.
Mine's too quiet.
Yes. Alright, fair enough.
You can't change yours and not change.
Oh yeah.
Abdul's really loud, yours is quiet.
Let me put mine up for you. That might be a bit better for mine then, because it's at least facing me a bit. Apologies everyone, you know how it is. Fuck it. Especially we don't have a chance to do any sort of setup for this. We literally run in the door and sit down and go. I've not even reviewed the data yet. I'll be reviewing it with you guys as we're seeing it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got it on here. 10 shots, 7 on target, 2 big chances, Arsenal 3 big chances. Can't say we didn't create anything. Hardly created anything. In a top 6 match like this, kind of. Come on.
Yeah, we created. I was happy with that. I was like, you know what, Pogba's not on the side, but I think he sort of had Jesse Lingard there in a 10 to do a bit of what Pogba can do, hopefully carry the ball forward and all of that, and it did work. Now, a lot of people, when I tweeted out after the game and I said...
Unplug it.
Yeah. Am I? I'm not.
You actually are.
Oh, it's coming under my leg.
Right, are we back? How's that for everyone? Hopefully that is now better for everyone. There we go. Right, so where was we? Bang your questions in, everybody, and we'll. Abdul's lack of emotion says it all. You all right, son?
It's just the fact that, like, when I feel we've done well, and like the tempo's at the right sort of area, and everything's going well for us, I think those changes just kill it for me as a fan. It just depresses you then. Because, like, had the game finished 75th minute, I would have gone, yeah, all right. But then, like, you see, there's opportunity.
Those last 15 minutes,
there,
there was so few opportunities.
Like, when it happened, the thing is, it's not happening once or twice now. Who did we play last? Was it at home? That last game at
Crystal
home?
Palace. Young boys.
Same thing. Well, young boys, Fred was brilliant for 60 minutes. People are always still getting back on his feet, and that's why he didn't play the full game. I don't want to hear those excuses from people anymore, because Matic is playing every week for me. That's all I'm going to reply with, because that's right in front of you. Why isn't he playing?
What he needs to do to get a rest. Well, I know what he needs to do to get a rest. He needs to not be Jose's friend.
I feel like some of these players are getting, like, because they take in what Mourinho says and sort of probably don't even have an input on the way we should be playing. Because they know if another manager walks through the door, 3 or 4 of those players aren't good enough to be in the side. And that's why those are his favourites.
And do you know what the problem about it is as well? Is that Matic is a good footballer.
He is.
He just needs a rest.
Listen, mate.
He just needs a rest.
He needs a rest.
To his best.
And he can't play every game. Every game, you need to change and you need to allow your system to rotate, because if you're playing in the same style with the same players that are slowing your game down, you will not improve. It's as simple as that.
McLaren in the comments said, you need to see the clip of Jose laying into the defence for passing sideways around the 83rd minute. I could see him from the Stretford end.
That's probably because he's trying to keep his job, mate. And if he is, then why are your changes awful further up the pitch? Why do you never find the balance, man?
The difference in quality between Bailly and Smalling when they play together is staggering. I remember Bailly and Rojo. Remember that we used to say, didn't we? Is it too much hot sauce?
Yeah.
And we was like, nah, it was actually just the right amount of hot sauce, wasn't it?
It was probably our best run of form since...
It was spicy, but it was... You could tolerate it, couldn't you? You know, the pair of them, they're a walking red and yellow card, but they attack attackers.
Yeah, man.
And they're not passive defenders, and they're both pretty good. And Rojo's got a ball on him and all. Best defender at the club's at Ajax, anyway.
We've seen Bailly and Rojo with that partnership do all right for a run of form.
Rojo should be playing regular. You're absolutely right. Rojo should be playing regular. Bailly should be playing regular. Look, Bailly and Mourinho have fell out. He's not even been injured. That's a fucking lie. It's a straight lie. He's not even been injured.
Yeah, but he's been on the bench in loads of games where we've had like McTominay.
There's a guy in the comments saying it. Another manager wouldn't have made any difference, and Jose can't win with you lots. You slag him off too much. Jose had a direct impact on this game with his substitutions. The momentum was in United's favour until he brings on Fellaini for Jesse. Now, if Jesse's got a knock, fine. But there was earlier, before he picked his 11, there was other options he could have had. If Andreas Pereira comes on, different. If Fred comes on, different. Today wasn't the game for Marouane Fellaini. It certainly wasn't the game, because the only player that you've got that can hit a ball up to him, Paul Pogba, didn't get on the ball. And if he's the only one that can hit a ball to him, he's easy to mark out the game. Yeah, if you've got multiple players that are constantly banging direct balls forward, then maybe it's the game for Marouane Fellaini. But we didn't do that.
Exactly.
If you're going to bring on a player that's got a real specific skill set, play to the fucking skill set.
That's what Mourinho doesn't do with half of our players, man. And he knackers out people like Matic. It happened with Zlatan.
So he brings on Lukaku. He brings on Fellaini. Who was the other sub?
I forgot. Who was it?
Who was the other sub?
Did we have another sub? Pogba, yeah.
So he brings those on, and he brings those on, and there's no plan to why you're bringing them on. You're just giving them minutes. And it was like, there was a couple of times that we actually played it to Lukaku's feet, which is what he's good at. Do you know why he looks shit? Because we're asking him to be Drogba, and he's never been Drogba as long as he's got hole in his ass. Yeah. He's a player that likes the ball played in front of him. That's when he looks at his best. There was once that we did it, and he came around the back and he looked great.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to get him to hold the ball up and that, this is why he looks terrible. He's not a guy that looks good standing still.
We're not playing to these players' strengths, and we're also not using them in the right way. Now, someone, just reading the comments now, mentioned that he said that we need Matic in transition in between defence and midfield. And you know what? I agree with you. I don't think Matic is the worst player. Now, the fact that I bang on about Matic every week, I've not got an agenda against him. It's the fact that he needs a rest. The guy, I don't think, isn't good enough for every game. And you were saying, why don't we just double up then? Why don't we just double up with like Herrera, Pogba and Fred?
Wow.
So Herrera, Pogba, double up, and then you got the extra man in there.
This is a quote from Jose. Is this tonight? I believe it probably is, you know. The quotes were Jose, he says, we haven't lost in our last 4 games. Our last loss was to City, who everyone loses to. Fucking hell.
Since he said we're going to be top 4, we're aiming to make top 4 by end of December, we've drawn every game. We've drawn every game, you know, since he's made that comment, like 3 games or something.
Crystal Palace, Southampton, same old Arsenal. Like, you got to be able to beat those. And yes, the transition from midfield to defence, Matic does help with that. Mm-hmm. But do you know what? Those last 20 minutes or so, once Jesse went off, we stood next to each other. We were saying, look there. There was players looking up. There was at one point Fellaini's got it on the right wing, and you go, there you go.
Why?
Because there's no one here moving for you. What Jesse Lingard does is he operates in between the defence and midfield. He's always on the go. He's a busy little ADD knobhead, isn't he? So he's just constantly on the go. That's why he's always dancing and fucking around, because he's a hyper little knobhead, right? Utilise that. That's what you got to fucking do. You got to utilise this guy.
I don't get that. People were telling me, oh, but he wasn't good enough. But Fellaini and Matic come on, and they don't change anything whilst we're attacking. See, that's what I don't get. I don't care if he's not good enough. If you're saying he's not good enough, but there's another 2 or 3 players that are not going to change the game for us. He can potentially change the game for us. He scored the goal. He could have been the game changer had he stayed on.
We didn't need the game changing. The game was going in our direction. It changed with the substitutions.
Yeah, sorry, changing it.
And I actually do think he
awful.
Do you know what? I don't think Jose wanted a draw, because the way he was wigging out on the sideline tells me he didn't want a draw. But his substitutions elicited a draw, and it was never going to do anything.
Did that against Southampton though? Yeah. What are you trying to do? Are you worried about your defence? Mate, I said this about the comment there. Like, I understand Matic can be good, but why Herrera and Pogba are enough to double up in the middle with Fred and Herrera to cover for what Matic can do?
Right, let's have a look at some average touches and stuff then. This is what we're here for, innit? Right, so this is United's average touches at the moment. As I'd expect, they're small in the furthest back. Baye, right next to him, they're doing a lot of covering. Really impressed with some of that last-ditch tackling and covering. Really put it on the line. Rojo quite far up. Now, he was allowed to, because Rojo's a decent ball player.
I think he had to do a lot for Darmian as well. Not that Darmian was bad. I thought he covered up pretty well.
Look how high Darmian is, though. That was a shot.
But we never picked... What did I say to you in the game when I said Darmian's not getting involved? I feel like
an attacking player.
Yeah, I understand that. See, he picked up a couple of good positions that no one was finding him in. And that's where we needed a Fred or a Pogba or someone alongside that. And then Jesse Lingard had the right movement ahead of him and Martial to free up Darmian. We didn't have anyone to pick up the pass out for him, and then when we had the chance to, he didn't make the right subs.
So we can see there, Ander Herrera slightly ahead of Nemanja Matic, and then Jesse occupying quite a similar space to Tony. I don't really have a major issue with that, to be honest with you, because I'm pretty happy with what Jesse was doing. And even though them three look like they're all right next to each other, they didn't really play like that.
They moved around. I really enjoyed one thing about Tony today, and I criticised him a lot about it before in terms of like him getting out there and really getting onto the defence and when he scored, you can see that he's wearing his heart on his sleeve because he was cheering up the fans like, "Come on!" And that's what you want to see from Tony, man. Like,
let's have a look at this. This is the frequent pass combinations. So in those areas there, you can see that there was a lot going through the middle of Matic, but this was because he was static. And when you actually do look into the data of how many passes he actually had a lot of passes, but the passes a lot of the time, some people was running round him, and they'd pass it him, run round the other side of him, and just knock it to him, and you're like, you've not really been involved in a play there, have you? Let's have a look. So we've got, let me put, I ain't got it on this computer, have I? What's going on there? So we've got Rojo and Matic, frequent combination. Matic to Herrera. He's hitting Baye on one side and Baye's finding the low. And then he's hitting Darmian on the other side. But you'll see, it's not going forward from Matic. It's not going to that attacking trio from Matic. It's actually not going into that attacking trio from anyone. I think the other problem is
he struggled a lot with when either he touch it in front of him or the ball comes to him and he'd knock it in front of him and then he'd create a 50-50 chance for the opposition player.
I want to see Herrera.
He's too slow to it. Herrera was mint today.
I want to see Herrera. Probably.
Either him.
Look at that! Go on, son! Keep covered everything.
That's
absolutely everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And he's it shows him quite heavily involved on the right hand side there, even though it looked like Delot was kind of isolated. Let's have a look at Delot, because a lot of people were saying to me, "What did you think of Delot after the game?" And I said, "You know what? Thought he was just all right. Didn't think he was spectacular. Didn't think he was bad. Didn't really. Is doesn't a word? It's late. Didn't really do much in the final third. There was a couple of decent looking crosses, but they didn't really find the people that they was looking for.
No one was coming out to him on the right as well a lot. I thought Herrera covered defensively. That's why you see on there Herrera covering defensively on the right, because they got down the right a bit too much.
Playmo is well worth it. Who else we got? We can have a look. Let's have a look at Eric Bailly there. I reckon that'll just be a rock of line.
He was good on the ball as well, Bailly, today. You know, when he came out a couple of times.
There's a couple of times he's lost it. There's a big line, like Connect 4 going on there, where he's lost it in a big row. But look at that, anything that come down that right-hand side, and Arsenal did come down this side quite heavily, actually. Dealt with. Absolutely dealt with. Who else have we got? We've got Darmian, we've got Matic. Let's have a look at Matic then. We've given him a bit of a slagging. Let's have a look. It's not getting anywhere past that. He's owned that middle third. That's definitely box to box. But yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't imaginative enough for me.
I think you just got to watch the game.
So
and
look at Jesse.
Exactly.
So look at Jesse's. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Picking it up in the.
Do you know what I was really happy with today? Grim in the comments here saying, "Give Herrera the armband for fuck's sake." Debanshu says, your worst ever podcast. I don't fucking think so, mate. You need to watch way more of my old podcasts. I agree, there was some leadership today, some character. Rojo, character, also kind of crazy. Baye, ditto. Ander Herrera, shithouse, leader. And there isn't enough of that in our team. Proper devoid of those real sort of leaders that do that kind of shit. People don't want to see Rashford, so look at Rashford. I think he's going to be way more involved than he was recently.
Mate.
Yeah.
Everywhere across the front line.
A lot of X's where he was shooting from distance, and I like that at times actually because we don't see United shooting.
There was one ball where he holds it up around the halfway line and Delors makes a run.
There's a bit of a link-up play. Yeah, he holds it in. He somehow holds the defender off.
I liked it from both Delors and Rashford. They knew exactly what they were doing there, and that's where an extra couple of games for Delors. They understand their positions. What do you think of having Marcus and Tony together? Because I think they can form something.
I don't think they'll get the opportunity to make it something. I think Lukaku will keep... He's only going to be... The pressure from the board is going to be... And they say they don't get involved, but they absolutely do. The pressure to have Lukaku in the starting 11 and Pogba will be immense. And the board will probably force his hand at some point in the near future.
Even if they are looking at it financially, then they're going to ask the questions of Mourinho as to why those players that he's played over 70 million for are not playing in that side. So Fred, I don't know what Fred's not doing in the side, man, because he's got to come into question for that.
My guy in the comments says, you guys watch a different game to me. Matic was more mobile than he's been in ages. He couldn't walk. You know, see, as soon as it hit half-time, the guy fucking limped.
He was limping off.
off.
We were watching it in front of us. I think the problem is a lot of people on TV don't see what happens off the ball. Mate, I feel like he's dragging himself.
Off the ball, sometimes it looks like he's going to go on his knees and go... like that. Like I do when I go for a run. That once. Delors let a lot of crosses in on his side. Needs time to get up to speed with players. One of the issues that you have when you play in this sort of formation, especially, is you do invite a little bit of pressure on that side where Delors is going to be. What's this here that we're looking at, Cameroon? So this is Delors passing.
Yeah.
Far too many backwards in the first half. As you'll see in the second half, getting a load more in. Those are the two that didn't come off, the little ones that's in the box there. But yeah, I thought it was a decent enough performance. Not amazing. It was just okay. It was all right. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's all right, and that's all right. Who else is passing have we got? Whoever I want. You showed me David Beckham from the 1999 Champions League final. He played in the middle that night. He was fucking instrumental. Who have we got? Herrera's passing. Let's have a look at Herrera's passing. I don't think his passing was too spectacular, Herrera. I think it was what he did off the ball, his tackling. Just a general overall midfield sort of player, really, wasn't he? Rashford's passing won't show us too much, I don't think. Again, let's have a look. We've got Fellaini's passing. Yeah, because there's probably fuck all for us to see, I don't think. Lads, you guys let us know what you want in the comments. Rojo, Bay, Pogba all made mistakes and Jose subs and removes them. Matic messes up, he still plays. There seems to be no urgency with Matic's passing. Yes, this is one of the things I'm liking. Jibby says Matic is minutes away from a cardiac arrest. Herrera had a good performance, says Tallison. Lads, give me your 1, 2, 3 for man of the match. I thought those four had great performances. Rojo, Baye, Marcus and Ander Herrera. Give us your top 3 for man of the match. Get it in the comments there. And give the video a like if you actually enjoyed the game more than you have done recently tonight. Because I honestly felt like one of those. Once we got in there, because getting in there was a ball ache, and I wasn't I wasn't giddy about it going in. I was kind of dreading it a little bit. I perked up a bit once I saw the team.
Yeah.
But once we was in there, it did actually feel like it had a bit of a...
It's a bit of what I expected when you have like Marcus and Jesse in the side in the attacking line. I thought we pressed them pretty well. I thought Tony come out to help out in midfield at times because Matic was dropping in a bit deep, I think, to support the defence. And then Herrera had a lot to do in the middle. So... we did pretty well up until, like you said, the 70th minute mark. And
De Gea man of the match, really? Not Matic?
Oh, mate, he made two world-class saves, De Gea, today.
He also put his own net, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but...
Darmian was not bad. No, it wasn't bad, and that's all right. Sometimes, like, I thought him and Delo, you're quite isolated as
pretty quiet
in that sort of system. I thought he had an excellent game. On the ball, I thought he was good, and defensively, I thought he was good. Like, he put it in his own net, but, every goal's a goal, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to the Patreon group as well. We have got a FIFA tournament coming up, which, do you know what? If you sign up tonight or tomorrow, you might just sneak in because I need a couple more people on Xbox to get it up to a number that we can actually put into a competition.
Because all the legends play this.
Otherwise, it's fucking well complicated, like with a proper stupid prime odd number that we've got, trying to figure out how you get this into a tournament format. And we go in here. So here we go. Questions from the Patreon, massive. Ryan says, so does Bay start next game after that, or does Jose throw him back in the gulag? Jose needs to put a bit of Marvin Gaye on, yeah, crack out the Chardonnay, put on a dressing gown, oil himself up.
Where's this going?
Okay,
where's this going? Chill out.
And he needs to go and buy a box of milk tray, and he needs to apologise. He needs to go make it up, kiss his neck, yeah, give him a back rub, whatever he needs to do. Baye, Pogba. It's like any given Sunday, innit? If this team does not heal, then we will die. That guy, the fucking greatest speech in all of fictional sport. Like, if we don't have some sort of moment like that where the team can actually start to fucking heal together and Jose can stop being a knicker sniffer with some of these players and actually just put behind him.
He's tried that. And he's failed, mate. About 3 or 4 times, probably.
Has he actually tried it, though?
I think he's tried it with a couple of players, but I said this around when it started to go well at times this season, and I said one thing, as soon as it goes bad, the results aren't going our way, he's making the wrong decisions in terms of changes, it's only going to go back. You're only going to get more problems, with Pogba and Jose, you're going to get more problems with Baye and Jose. And it looks like these problems have reached out to players that you wouldn't expect. From the things you hear, players that are committed to the club, players that are united through and through. He's having issues with those players. Now that's when it got to turn to the management. It's not the players now, it's your fault.
So yeah, he needs to have a little bit of sexual healing. Sing a little bit of Marvin Gaye to Eric Baye and get him to not leave, and he'll be laughing. Underrated film any given Sunday, watchable. Cameron Diaz in it, and it's probably the best role. Shouldn't speak much. Jack Wall, how did Matic get man of the match? I agree that he was better today than most games. I don't even know if he was better. However, Herrera was better than him. Herrera was sick. Herrera was sick.
Last, mate.
Tino, has Rashford done enough to show he deserves to start up front in the next, say, 2 games? Next 2 games are Fulham and... Who's after Fulham?
Liverpool, is it? Maybe.
Liverpool's on the 16th. Have we got a midweek game? Oh, that would be Valencia. Fulham and Valencia is not a bad run. A couple of games there to give them an opportunity.
Let's take Chang on that to Valencia. You got to, man. You got to. You said this as well the other day, didn't you?
Liverpool have got to fight for their life in Champions League, so you want to give them a 2 games.
Matic could get a rest in that game. Do you know how excited? I've never been so excited for a player to get a rest. Matic could get arrested against Valencia. If he doesn't, I will be.
And says, saw a lot of heart from Rashford, Lingard and Herrera. Was that team performance good enough to have our expectations been lowered? No, I think Arsenal are coming in here getting piped off by everyone. People are like, Arsenal are... fucking Dave today says Arsenal are going to win the league pretty soon. Fucking... Tweet Dave and just go, dick. And I'm not seeing it in full. They've had a really great run of games, but they're not that far ahead of us considering how shit we've been.
They've had a couple of lucky decisions and stuff go their way, and that's not me being bitter over what they're doing, but I think they're playing brilliant football. I think what Emery's doing, he's building a system, he's building a structure on the side. I think he's got the right vibe that you want in the team. He's got the squad going. So I think in terms of that, they can build on it. Just want to see a bit more throughout the season. how they will do when they go deep in Europe. Because what he's doing really well is he's utilising the
Europa League.
Well, it is Europa League, but that's my point, because he's utilising a lot of the younger players. But once some of the top sides might fall out, like Liverpool and that, might fall into the Europa League, and then you face one of those, and then that's it now, you can't utilise those younger players in Europa League, and you've got to go week in, week out, every game. Some of them look knackered today. I know there was a bit of diving and all of that from them. They were stopping the game.
Oh, honestly, how soft are they? Is that a tactic? Is Emery going, whenever you get a brush, just go down like you've been baseball batted? Because it was pathetic.
Some of them were weird. There was like a nudge
pathetic.
that Matic done and pulled someone back, like just with his hand like that, where Fernandinho the other week clatters Jesse from the back. That wasn't a yellow, but that was. And then they do the same exact thing up the other end.
I thought the referee lost control of the game a little bit.
He did.
Or he
panicked.
was panicking a little bit towards the end of the first
I'm
half.
not a big fan of...
Jack says, why did Jose take off Jesse? We lost so much energy. Totally. Where do we go from here? Does Jose stay or go? I think he's sticking around, mate. I think, you're looking at a couple of games at a time with shocking results. And even though that at the moment they're adding up, like, is a point that much better? Is a point here and a point at Southampton and a point against Palace? Does that really add up? I mean, we've dropped 6 points really there. That's like losing two of them.
What worries me the most out of all of this is going into the next round of the Champions League.
Yay. Ant says, personally think Rojo is certifiable. Do you think he'd pass an army psychological evaluation? I like that. You need crazy. Everyone needs a bit of fucking crazy.
Finding Rojo crazy work.
Connor says, happy birthday, Steve. Do we stick with this formation as it covers up our weaknesses? This formation is something that I think Jose really wanted to play a couple of years ago, year and a half ago. Now, I
didn't find the right
does man. It's mad, isn't it? Because if he's not happy with his centre-halves, he's picking a formation which picks the most centre-halves that you could have on a pitch. It's kind of wild, really. And he actually did pick centre-halves for it today. I don't know. I thought he was going to go with three at the back because I knew Arsenal was going to go with three at the back.
McTominay might play there, though.
Yeah, I did think that, actually. Fred should have come on. Matic. Fred wasn't even on the bench, was he?
Wasn't on
the bench. He was watching at home on telly. I think so. Gutted Marshall is injured, says Marshall. Do we know what the diagnosis is on that yet? I haven't seen any idea about that. Ash says, decision making in the final third has been shite for ages. Why the fuck can't top level professionals pick the right pass or the right run? That can't be on Jose, surely. Yeah.
Some of it is, since some of them need the rest.
We gifted them their goals. I haven't actually watched their goals back yet, but it seemed like a comedy of errors.
We let them run right through the middle for that second goal. It was disgusting to watch.
BH Smith says, can we turn this season round in January, or is there a problem for the new manager this summer? I don't think either of those things are a guarantee, to be honest with you.
Have you seen the stuff coming out about... There's a bit more coming out about Mourinho and Madrid now. And I really start to think that's how it's going to work out. And I think they're waiting.
There.
I think they're waiting.
Saves his face, doesn't it?
I think they're waiting. I have 100%. I think Madrid would have had someone in by now,
People loved McTominay last year. Statman Dave loved McTominay last year. Never loved McTominay.
I thought
McTominay wasn't even the best in the academy. Like some of these players that are in the academy, we're going, oh my God, play him.
I said it earlier on the fan cam. I was like, anyone that was watching the 23s, you watched a few of those games at Lee, and how many games where Matty Willett comes out, brilliant. I remember Liverpool away, scores the goal. Goss as well with the cross for that, and they were playing absolutely brilliantly, those two, as a pivot. McTominay was utilised as a striker in those run of games. He's now alright centre back in some games. So we've moved up a player from playing up front as a makeshift to a centre back in the first team. What is Mourinho doing?
Hashtag McMayonnaise. The guy that isn't Steve is a fucking dumbass. That's you. Can we have a look at Paul Pogba's touches, please? We can't. Thank you. No, we can't, Tino. Jack says, not related to the game, but are you still interested in those FIFA cards? I'll DM you. Why bring on Fellaini that early? Yes, I can understand with 5 out of 7. I can't, because we didn't play anything that's going to suit him. We asked him to sit in there and... Marwan, do the polo roll. Okay. Duro and Bay now warrant a space in the... They warranted a space all along, mate, to be honest. They're just not...
It's not selected.
Mitts, do we look like we give a shit for these bigger teams and not smaller teams, or is the change of players in that midfield without McMayonnaise and the defender change a lot of character for some players? Also, happy birthday. I don't know. I really didn't expect this today at all. I didn't. We got a super chat from Oliver Price. He says, are there any centre backs in the academy that could play? I honestly thought Roshan was going to be given some bench time. I had a chat with him this week, and some of the things he was saying, I was kind of like, I think he might be on the bench. But obviously not. And I also I am getting a bandwagon going if everyone wants to jump on board for Deshaun Bernard, who's been absolutely killing it.
Who did they play? Was it Young Boys that we watched the other day? He was mint against them.
Sat there watching him against Young Boys and be like, he's fucking better than Smalling him. Day with
so
that shit.
composed. His positioning was fantastic, man.
He's that chill. He could be. I mean, he's not quite as chill as Tuanzebe, because I think Tuanzebe could actually be texting while he plays.
Yeah.
But he's very, very good, and he's huge as well. Fosu-Mensah and Tuanzebe would be great for us. Yeah, I mean, I thought Mourinho would have loved Fosu-Mensah. I don't get it with him. Dijon Mustard. It's Deshaun, but yes, let's go with that. He's better than McMayonnaise anyway. Abdul, watching on TV, I thought the subs was a little forced. Marshall injured and Jesse knackered, and a nice pack when sat on the bench. All right, okay, it's something we didn't see. Do you think we get slowed down because we don't have the full options quality in the squad? Well, we did. We had Fred. I didn't choose to pick him.
He wasn't even a squad. Pereira wasn't even a squad.
And if that's what you want, why not throw Jimmy Garner in, man? Jimmy Garner,
he's brilliant to watch, mate. He plays better than Matic does as a holding midfielder. I don't care what anyone says. If you just watch Jimmy Garner for about 10 minutes, mate, the other day when we were watching him, as soon as he gets the ball, we were talking about, I think I mentioned this twice now, about the Busquets video that Rio posted, and you see exactly what a DM needs to do, and why Busquets has smashed it at Barca, no matter which managers walked in. But when Valverde came, people saying Busquets wouldn't stay in the side because he doesn't suit the system. He likes a nasty midfielder in there.
That's why we thought.
Because as soon as he gets the ball, looks at the option that's going to thread through the middle. Matic doesn't have that vision around him. You need to have that. We lost that in Michael Carrick, and Garner's a made man for that. And especially that we have Carrick as a coach in the side. I think it's important that we try bring someone like Garner through, because we're clearly lacking in a player like that.
Who else was I just going to fucking mention then as well? That I was like, I thought you would absolutely love him. I just forgot. I was reading something there and I was like, nope, it's gone.
For the younger lads, I thought Matty Willock might have had a look in at one point, because he does get around in midfield. He is physical. So I thought out of them, when I was looking at it, I saw Sean Goss, brilliant on the eye.
And this is a mad thing. People are going, Willock's out playing in Scotland and Goss didn't even get games at Rangers. This is how careers can end up going, man. If the manager likes you,
man.
Even if you're not good, you get games. We're seeing that. Because both of them are better than McTominay. But McTominay now has been part of the squad for that long that he probably comes along with with like a reputation and a package. Willock was the one that should have been getting his debut, and I thought he was coming.
He didn't even get it against Palace in that last game. Yeah. That where Demi Mitchell and that played. Demi Mitchell was fantastic in that game.
Have you seen Demi this week? Have you seen the highlights?
Yeah,
watching the highlights.
We were watching it that day. He was brilliant.
Oh yeah, we put mine on Sunday, didn't we? There's still a little bit of time if you want to donate to the 24-hour podcast that we did. And if you're really, really bored and you want to go and watch 24 hours of us talking utter bollocks, then head over to the channel. There's 4 videos there, 6 hours long each, which we stayed up for a full 24-hour stream this weekend to raise money for the homeless. And we raised £2,400. The target was 5k. We're not quite there yet. But yeah, we're going to do some good stuff for that this Christmas. Will Marshall sign or will he leave? I believe he will sign.
I think he signs.
I think we've offered him some obscene amount of cash. But yeah.
I don't think Mourinho's here today after the end of the season. Do you think that's it?
Callum says we need a fresh start and a manager who will nurture these world-class potential players. Will Marshall and De Gea leave? De Gea I'm less certain on.
That's what I was saying about though.
800 watching and only 100 and something likes. How about like the button, or I'm going to start digging him in the head.
I think a lot of the players, I was just going to say, a lot of the players are counting on if Mourinho leaves or not at the end of the season. And I think Martial's one of them. I don't think De Gea, it sounds like he's standing on the manager's side. He's mates with a lot of, it seems like he's mates with a lot of the lads that, Martial and Pogba and that. Herrera, Mata, loads of players that can not like Mourinho's favourite every week, are they? So I think he could stay. I don't think Spain are fans of him, but PSG looks like a destination that could be possible.
Oh, listen, I found out how much Messi earns today.
Is it mad?
Do you know how much he earns?
No.
Right, got to play a little game with everybody. Write in how much a week you think Lionel Messi earns. Now everyone's going to be like, oh, it's fucking worth it. Maybe. But whenever some players are mentioned, it's always how much they earn. You know, even like Sterling, the 300 grand a week, Raheem Sterling. Like, why have I never seen this with Messi? Get in your guesses how much a week you think Messi earns. Because I was fucking shocked. I thought he'd earn a lot. I thought 4, maybe 500k. Oh la la, a lot of cash. So we got Jacob 700, Michael Lyons 600, Waheem 550, Hitler says 550, 680, 500, 1 mil from Mr. E. Is it over a mil? Says McLaren 582. 1.75 million a week.
Nah, it doesn't.
1.75 million a week. I go with a peri-peri or occasionally a reggae. I did. Or a Pyrenees. They're my sauces usually. So I was doing a little bit of research, looking at like Joe. I thought Juventus was one of the highest paid teams in the world. I thought it was all because they've just obviously signed Ronaldo. That's going to give them a massive boost in how much they spend. And it's like, no, Barcelona pay the most in the world. And they're like, and a massive chunk of that is Lionel Messi's 1.75 million a week.
Yeah, but how's that?
It might be 1.78. In it, really never hear of it. 1.75 million. And there are people like, well, it's fucking worth it. And you're like, that's 10. And he might be worth it. He's pretty good. He's not Jesse Lingard.
So wait, is he the most paid athlete then in the world?
I would fucking think so. I mean, footballer, definitely. There's probably some baseball players.
I know some NBA players that'll get like over $1 million a week or something.
1.7 million per week. That's not his wages after tax. No, because he's paying for the fucking Spanish National Army, I think, with his tax. I'm just going to Google it. See if there's other sources.
Fake sources again from Stephen Howson. Had enough of it. That is mental, man. So what comes out about like 500k a week? All of that is rubbish. That's obviously disregarding like bonuses, sponsorships and all that, or is that all included?
Can't even find it, man. Whatever. Is it before tax? Absolutely, that's before tax. He's probably paying like, isn't it higher than 50% over there in Spain, or is it France?
Depends what you want.
One of them's mental. Like there's a 75% tax rate. None of us are ever getting on that, so don't worry about it. But you know what I mean. No mentions for Andres Pereira. Yeah, again, Andres Pereira, another player that could be seen kicking in the mix. Did I see Fellaini pulling Guendouzi's hair? No, I didn't. And
he wants
it back. He just wants it back, yeah. Do you guys watch American sports?
I watch a bit of NBA.
I'll watch American football if it's on telly, but I'm not seeking it out. I'm not staying up.
Yeah,
I haven't got.
I did go through like a patch where I was watching like the NBA finals and that, but it's getting boring because the Golden State are just smacking everyone.
Torre says Delo was exposed at the back. Not sure I agree with that, to be honest with you. I mean, do you mean by exposed?
I thought they got down. I get what some of these guys are saying because I thought we got down the right side pretty in terms of for them guys. They got down that side pretty easily. I think that's because of the midfield. Because I think, Matic had to Herrera had to cover up for the midfield. He was left alone a lot. I think that's why they ended up with a lot of space. Darmian held his position pretty well, and so did Rojo, and that's why we didn't look as exposed on the left side. I thought every time we had a shaky moment. You remember when those crosses were coming across from the low side? That's where Fred could have come in and really got himself about and helped and supported Delo going forward and defensively, man.
I wouldn't say he was.
Did you see Tyson Fury? Yes, we did see Tyson Fury.
No, I disagree that he was poor defensively. I thought he was all right. I think he was all right. Yeah, there are some places, and I'm sure it's in what's it called, France. There's a 75% tax bracket. That's been mental. No wonder they're all going on finger. What do I think will happen in January? It'll probably start getting a bit warmer. The nights start getting a little bit lighter, noticeably.
I was about to crack a joke like that, but yeah.
I'm a dad. I'm allowed. Do I think we need someone in defence similar to Vidic? We got him in Bay. A fucking unhinged lunatic. He just doesn't like Mourinho. Doesn't like him, and I don't think he likes Mourinho. Rid of all the players that don't play for the badge and any manager that doesn't love the badge. I mean, in an ideal world, yeah, but yeah. Aman P says, long-time watcher, recent poster. I'm sure you've covered it in the past, but if Jose goes, as Red Devils were saying, who do you have come in, Jardine, Blanc, etc.? There's no absolute nailed-on answer. There is no nailed-on answer. There's a lot of options, but there's an element of risk, and nobody guarantees anything.
Man.
City fans keep trying to say this to me that no one guarantees success. Well, why did you fucking come third in your first season then? No beds. Do you know what I mean? Nobody guarantees success.
Yeah.
Nobody. Fergie didn't guarantee success. Otherwise, he'd have had 26 league titles and not 13. Nobody guarantees success. If our board had half a clue, they should throw in a big fee at De Ligt. Did you see Gaz talking about him? Said he's a prospect. Fucking guy's the captain at the moment. He's not a prospect. He's banging.
Did you see him boss it against Bayern the other night in the Champions League? I've never enjoyed watching defending as much as De Ligt and Koulibaly, man. They make defending look enjoyable. Eric Bailly tonight.
Who's alongside De Ligt? Abdul?
Daley Blind.
Oh, Daley Blind.
Apparently wasn't strong enough, wasn't tall enough, but although he was a vital part in our Europa League winning side. Calmed down our defence, made Smalling look less shit. Him and Axel would have been a min
Daley
pairing,
Blind made
they?
Chris Smalling look world class, not just less shit.
Oh yeah,
there was about 8 games where Mike Smalling looked absolutely world class.
In the world.
Then he stopped eating steaks, grew his hair like a fucking crank, and went all over the.
Was it his
place.
wife that made him stop eating?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Whatever you
fucking women in it when they don't have a real job and they just start pecking head. I think we will see more Fred and Andreas when Jose sorts this shit defence out. Maybe. Here's Diesel now. De Gea, best player. Say something when Manchester United's best player is between the sticks. Laughable. It's been like that for 5 years, mate.
It's a joke.
Yeah. Righty, I think I'm going to wrap it up there, but thank you guys for joining. Please hit the like button. It honestly helps us get found and seen a bit more, and I definitely appreciate if you do that. There is going to be a vlog out in the morning. Have you got that video rigged up? Nope, never mind. Because I could have cut away and go away. You can see reactions like this. But it's not going to rigged up, so I can't do that. For fuck's sake. So there's the vlog out in the morning, and then on Friday, obviously, there'll be a preview for the Fulham game. But thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate you coming and checking us out at midnight on a Wednesday after we've drawn at home, even though it was a better performance. It did feel all right, didn't it?
Yeah. And
if anyone knows where we can print out like a little Angel Gomez thing so we can bang him on the top of our tree, let us know. But thank you guys for watching. Go give Abdul a follow on Twitter and check his channel out on YouTube as well. And we will see you tomorrow, I guess. See you in a bit.